At season's start, the list of tracks is long and diverse. It's hard to imagine what kind of story will be written come the final race of the year. We're almost there. We are in the final home stretch, our own version of the chase. After today, 5 races remain before crowning a Truck Series champion. At this point, no one is safe. Every track can change the story. Each position matters. Today, the championship is waiting for someone to take control. You want to see what happens next, right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and only on Fox Sports 1.
Good evening from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's the 17th race of the year for the Camping World Truck Series, the Rhino Linings 350. We are live on Fox Sports 1 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 6 races to go in 2014. So why don't we take a look at the championship standings. And the man at the top would be one Matt Crafton. And what a season he is having. The model of consistency, but his advantage is slim. Only 7 markers in front of his teammate, Johnny Sauter, who has one here at Las Vegas. And in third, Ryan Blaney. A couple of races ago, he won north of the border in Canada. But he's not been great the last couple of races. He needs a good event here tonight. And then there's Darrell Wallace Jr., 35 points out. It appears we have a 4-man race to the finish when it comes to the trucks in 2014. So drivers to watch in tonight's race. How about Ron Hornaday? Missed the last 3 races. The last time he went to victory lane on a tailgater, it was right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, 3 years ago. Timothy Peters won this race 1 season ago, looking for his first win of 2014. This club has really struggled in the last 8 races. He's hoping to get back on track. And then there's Johnny Sauter. We told you he comes in tonight as the second place man in the championship. He won this race in 2009, the first victory in his Camping World Truck Series career. And what about his teammate, Matt Crafton? We told you he leads the championship chase. So good on mile-and-a-halves, but he has never got the checkered flag in Sin City. 3 times he's been a runner-up here. And then there's Ryan Blaney, the young kid who has been so impressive. We talked about that win he got a few weeks ago on the road course in Canada. Tonight he starts on the pole. 24 points out in the championship chase, and he hopes tonight can be the turning point he is looking for. It's going to be one fun evening in Las Vegas. The trucks are ready to go, and so are we. So now we go trackside for pre-race ceremonies at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
And now, race fans, at this time, we would ask that you please stand. And gentlemen, remove your hats as the Nellis Air Force Base Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. And here to deliver tonight's invocation is Las Vegas Motor Speedway Chaplain Kurt Schulke.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we ask for your blessings on this crowd. And Lord, keep safe all the drivers, their crews, and their family. And we also raise up the track personnel, especially the emergency and safety crews who do such dedicated work. And Lord, when we think of dedication, may we never forget and always remember our men and women in the military, both at home and overseas. They protect us, Lord. They keep us safe. Put your protective hands on them, Lord, as they sacrifice for the cause of freedom. We ask all this in your most precious name. Amen.
And now please remain standing as Nashville recording artist and Las Vegas resident Sierra Black sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly
I know it's after 10 o'clock on the East Coast, but this one is worth staying up for. The Camping World Truck Series, making their 18th appearance at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The command to fire engines is next. Nothing like a late night in NASCAR. The Camping World Truck Series live in Las Vegas, Nevada, getting set for their 17th race of the year. So let's look at our clipboard as we get ready for the green flag here tonight in Sin City. Number one on our list, we had some gamblers in qualifying, and for some, it didn't pay off. More on that in a second. And could we get another first-time winner? We have had two already this season, including a week ago in Loudon, New Hampshire. So good to have you with us on this Saturday night. Welcome in, everybody, with Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons. I'm Adam Alexander. So we took a vote on who was going to describe what happened in qualifying earlier. Phil, you're the big winner. Update us, man, because it was confusing.
Well, everybody knows qualifying is important. For the last 8 winners here came from the pole. Well, 5 trucks in the second session, which was 10 minutes long, jumped out there. They put a time in. Everybody else waited on pit road because drafting is so important here at this racetrack. You see some of the trucks, once they start moving, then the other trucks move as well to try to get that draft. Well, while several other trucks were on the racetrack, John West Townley spins out. 6 other trucks had actually taken the green flag prior to this happening. As soon as that happened, they stopped the session. They let those 6 trucks go back and finish their lap. But at the end of the deal, only 11 trucks actually had a time to go to round 3. Armand Quiroga, who was fastest in round 1, was also added to that. Ryan Blaney ends up on the pole, and it was a lot of confusion down in the garage area.
Well, and because of all of that, Michael, we got a couple of drivers starting up front tonight that we don't always see at the front of the grid.
I'll just be honest with you, Phil. There's still some confusion for me as to what happened during qualifying. But the result of it, there's a couple of guys in row 2 that I think can win this race tonight and become the next first-time winner. Look at there, Taylor Mossam on the high-speed track at Michigan just a couple of months ago. He finished in the top 5, a career best finish. And we've talked about Armand Quiroga in that Autobox Toyota. He has been fast week in and week out. He's been nipping at victory lane. This kind of racetrack could be the exact place that Armand Quiroga pulls it off and heads to victory lane.
Well,
and
you talk about other drivers
yeah.
that could get their first career win. What about Brian Eichler or perhaps Tyler Reddick, both drivers who are quite capable? We'll watch them in a moment. First, trackside for our command.
Now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome back your grand marshals, the Mountain Ridge Little League All-Stars.
Drivers, start your engines!
Now the engines have fired. Only one item left on our to-do list, and that's to put the green flag in the air. We do it next on Fox Sports 1. Glad you're here.
Hornaday chooses the outside line. Timothy Peters will restart on the inside. Green flag in the air.
Miguel Paluda will push Timothy Peters to the lead. They're 3 wide behind him for second.
1 lap to go.
Peters wins at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
The 30 trucks that will do battle here tonight rolling off the grid. So let's take a look at our Camping World track description and race analysis as we get set for race 17 in 2014 for the Camping World Truck Series.
Another one of our 1.5 miles. You see the turns are banked 20 degrees. This racetrack was reconfigured back in 2006. It used to be a lot flatter than that. They made it really racy now, Mikey.
Yeah, and a lot of speed. They're going to be traveling over 180 miles an hour down in the corner, and there's many options when you get down there. You can run low, you can run high. I love this racetrack. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch these truckers under the lights tonight.
Here's our race analysis right here. You see estimated pit stops 3. They're going to have a competition caution because of some tire wear issues at lap 30. We know the pit window is somewhere between 50 and 55 laps.
You mentioned the confusion in qualifying earlier in the show, Phil, but what about these 2 young studs starting up front tonight? Ryan Blaney, Darrell Wallace Jr. on the front row, and we got another young superstar back in the 13th position. That would be Eric Jones in the 51.
Let's see if we can talk to Eric Jones and see what he's thinking right now. Hey, Eric Jones, Phil Parsons up on the Fox booth. You got a copy? Eric, there was a lot of confusion, obviously, during qualifying, and I think maybe you may be one of the guys that really got a tough break. You had a fast Toyota, and you ended up not making it to the last round.
Yeah, it was kind of a... Yeah, we really do that.
So thought we had a shot at the pole, but really had to run for it. So ended up starting 13th here, but a little farther back than we wanted. So got a little work to do, but I think we can work our way up to the front pretty quick.
You're in a fast truck there. Kyle Busch takes that thing to victory lane. You've also taken it to victory lane as well. You got what it takes to get to victory lane tonight?
I really believe we do. We practiced really well, made a lot of big gains at the end. So I think we'll make our way up front here. Got a long, long race. So we get up front, just have a shot at it.
All right, buddy. Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, it's already been a good day for the boss. Kyle Busch got the checkered flag earlier this afternoon in nationwide competition in Dover, Delaware. He would love to see one of his trucks get the win tonight in his hometown of Las Vegas. Before we go green, let's go trackside one more time. We start things off with Ray Dunlap. What's up, Ray?
Hey, Adam, you know, we've never had a driver win consecutive championships here in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, but Matt Crafton hopes to change that this year. He's been very, very good on mile-and-a-halfs this year, and that's where he scored a lot of his points. He's got 132 laps led this year on the mile-and-a-halfs, but look at these finishes. How good has it been? Back in Texas, he got the big win, and this year he's got a win and those second-place finishes. But at this track, he has finished second 3 times. Matt Crafton hopes to go to victory lane tonight, and keep in mind he has outscored Johnny Sauter, who's second in the points, by 48 points when we come to mile-and-a-halfs. Crafton really good on these tracks, Hermie.
And Ray, the strategy it may take to go to victory lane at Las Vegas tonight has already been altered a little bit. As Phil said earlier today, NASCAR says we'll have a competition caution at lap 30. Why? The concern by NASCAR of excessive tire wear on some of the trucks. Not everybody had tire issues. Now, some of the crew chiefs that were not experiencing those issues are disappointed they added another set of tires to the pit stalls tonight. You'll have 4 sets of tires on pit road instead of 3 to run this race. When you take the rest of those tires and the strategy that goes with it will play a big part in who goes to victory lane tonight.
Thank you, Hermie. And we are closing on a lap to go before we go green, so let's check out our onboard cameras.
Yeah, great to have Ron Hornaday back, our 4-time champion. He was really having a great season. 7 of his last 8 starts, he finished in the top 10 and was 4th in points before the funding ran out with the truck he was with. He's moved over to NTS Motorsports. Ream came on board to give Ron a couple 3 races, so great to have him back. And Ron will start back in the 18th spot.
How about this man? Joey Coulter's been solid all year long. 6 top 10 finishes in his last 8 races. The 24-year-old from Miami Springs, Florida, rolls off 8th in his Allegiant Travel Chevrolet.
Ray just talked about Matt Crafton and how good he is on the mile-and-a-halfs. He said he's really tired of finishing second to Kyle Busch. Well, he's not going to finish second to Kyle Busch tonight because Kyle's not here, and he will start his Menards Toyota from the 5th spot.
I talked about him in the open. I think Armand Quiroga could be our next first-time winner tonight. He's a 3-time Mexico Toyota Series champion. He's rolling off 4th in his Otterbox Toyota. Look for him to be strong tonight.
Armand Quiroga, twice this season, has been a runner-up, including that thrilling race we had earlier this month. We went up to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and it was Ryan Blaney that got him at the line in the road course event in Canada. We'll see if he can pull it off tonight. As Michael said, a solid qualifying effort. He starts in the 4th position. So we mentioned it off the top. The championship battle is tight, and there are 4 drivers right now that have their eye on the prize with 6 races to go.
And I love Darrell Wallace Jr. He's been fast on these big tracks. He's been solid on the small tracks. There's a lot of races coming up the rest of the season that he could star in. Look for him to indeed chop into that point lead that Crafton enjoys and be a part of this championship battle as we race toward Miami.
Not a great start again for Johnny Sauter, but he always seems to manage to be good at the end of the race. He's starting back in the 16th spot. Don't count him out, though.
But what about Matt Crafton? We talk about how close he's been to winning race after race that Kyle Busch was in. Well, Kyle's not here tonight, so that's a different story for Crafton. He could be solid tonight and pad that point lead.
Another thought on Matt Crafton. 5 career wins, 3 of them coming at mile-and-a-half tracks. Las Vegas, one of those. In fact, 3 of our last 6 races at mile-and-a-half venues. Perhaps Crafton is the guy to beat. He has a 7-point advantage coming in.
We're going to slip Martinsville and Talladega in there just to mix things up a little bit. How about get a little bit crazy at those places?
Oh, by the way, Crafton won at Martinsville earlier this season as well. Ryan Blaney on the pole. He is the control car for the control truck, I should say, for the start. And he elects the inside lane. Green flag in the air, and we are off and rolling. 17th race of the year for the trucks.
He's got his good buddy Bubba Wallace on his outside. Bubba's hanging in there.
Yeah, you kids at home say those are BFFs on the front row. They're battling down into turn one. I don't think that matters right now. Bubba Wallace wants to get the lead on the outside. He's going to get a push off turn two. It looks like for Armand Quiroga, who's getting pushed by Matt Crafton. That could result in pushing Wallace by for the lead, does it?
These trucks are running wide open here. The short way around on the bottom for Ryan Blaney. You see that truck bottom out a little bit.
Gotta love the sparks flying as we go at it under the lights here at Las Vegas.
It's going to be Wallace for the lead on the first lap.
Officially Darrell Wallace Jr., but as we head into turn one, Ryan Blaney has other ideas on his mind, trying to grab the top spot off of turn two and waiting in the wings, the 77 of Armand Quiroga.
What I tell you about these banks wide open, 175, 80 miles an hour, side by side, plenty of racing room. That's why this place is so fun for the drivers. They have a lot of options.
What are you feeling if you're Ryan Blaney and you've got that truck on your outside and we have trouble behind him? As the leaders cross the start-finish line, completing our second lap, coming off of turn four, it was the 15 of Mason Mingus who had problems.
A new team for Mason Mingus. You see, he brought his sponsorship over. The Call Before You Dig 811. He brought it over to Billy Boat Motorsports. We know Billy Boat, a former IndyCar winner, has his son Chad running in the Nationwide Series. They started a truck team, and Mason Mingus has moved over to this team.
And it's amazing, Adam, to me. You talk about 175, 80 miles an hour, side by side, sparks flying. These trucks are really tough to hang on to early in the going, especially when they're bottoming off the road. I'm surprised more people don't spin out.
Just 2 laps in our first caution of the night. It's for Mason Mingus. Green flag when we return to Las Vegas. Just underway in the Rhino Linings 350 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Camping World Truck Series. And 2 laps in, we get our first caution. It was Mason Mingus that had the spin off of turn 4. He was scored in the 20th position when he went around. Third right now, Armand Quiroga, Hermie.
And Adam, we always speak about Quiroga as the potential next first-time winner. And he's got a little bit extra motivation tonight. Not that he needs it, but a friend of his, Javi Razzo, a friend of his from the NASCAR Mexican Series, is suffering from cancer. And you can see right there, strength to Javi right there on the side of the seat for Armand Quiroga. He wanted to mention that he was riding along, showing strength for his friend and hoping to take he and him to victory lane tonight here in Las Vegas.
And Hermie, before that caution flew, Quiroga looked like he was thinking about taking them 3 wide down the front straightaway. There was a lot of talk down in the garage area about how strong this number 77 Toyota is, and Quiroga was flexing his muscle early, so look for him to be fast all night long.
A couple of the trucks that were running at the tail end of the field have elected to come down pit road here at lap 5, but the vast majority of the field staying out. And the reason why, we talked about it, a competition caution at lap 30 when you know everyone will pit, and if you came here you couldn't put fuel in your truck anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Probably for a chassis adjustment. Tyler Reddick was a top running truck that came down pit road, the 19 truck. I think probably for a little bit of a chassis adjustment is it.
And you know, if you watch these trucks race, we watched Kyle Busch race from the back to the front. There's plenty of room to pass here at Las Vegas. Early in the going, if your truck doesn't feel exactly like you want it to, I like coming to pit road, making a chassis adjustment, maybe raising the tri bar, putting some wedge in your truck so that you'll have a better truck to race toward lap 30 with. When you get to lap 30, you've made one adjustment. If you're way off, then you know what the next one might be that would help your truck.
Yeah, it's an extra adjustment. I think that's exactly right, especially if your truck wasn't handling to suit you.
And I love these restarts too. Watch for that 77 truck of Quiroga. He's going to have the opportunity to take them 3 wide down into turn 1. We've seen big runs from that second row. Be interesting to see if Quiroga can pull that off.
And keep an eye on Crafton too as well, starting in the 4th spot, that yellow Menards number 88.
Ryan Blaney is the race leader, but unlike at the start of the race, this time he chooses the outside lane.
Well, he couldn't get the lead. Yes, absolutely. It didn't work where he picked before. Let's try somewhere new. How cool is this? Saturday night at 10:30 back on the East Coast, 11 o'clock. We're racing trucks.
We're staying up late with them. Here we go. Complete lap 6 as we go back green in Sin City. Perhaps a little drafting help. Bubba Wallace in the inside lane getting a bit of a shove from Quiroga, but it's Ryan Blaney powering to the outside as they come off of turn 2.
Yes, Crafton helping him on the outside. The draft is so important with these trucks that punch such a big hole in the air.
Look at them. They stay side by side. Over through turns 3 and 4. Advantage inside Bubba Wallace as they come back to the start-finish line, but that outside lane really helps as you come off the corner.
You get that momentum from the high side. Ryan Blaney was able to use that momentum to get the lead back, but now Bubba Wallace has a bit of an edge on the inside.
But here comes Blaney on the outside. And you know, Phil, right now, Ryan Blaney's saying, okay, I did my job down on the bottom. It's really tough to keep your truck pointed in the right direction as they go 3 wide down into turn 1.
That would be the 23 of Spencer Gallagher making the inside move, getting around Crafton, and also the 77 of Herman Quiroga.
How about Spencer Gallagher? Home race for him. He's a Las Vegas native doing a nice job here up in the top 5.
And a truck I think we're really going to have to watch all night long is that red and white number 17. Timothy Peters, we talked about he won here a year ago. It's been a tough summer for this team. He's fallen out of championship contention. They're just all about wins right now.
But I got to tell you, if you were in the garage today for practice and you look at the scoreboard at any time, all 3 of those red horse trucks were strong. We talked about Quiroga, you mentioned Peters, and Brian Eichler's been pretty solid as well. He's 9th right now.
Boy, Spencer Gallagher made a big charge for the front, but he's falling straight back. Looks like that truck might be a little bit loose. Johnny Sauter's going to look around the outside of him as they come down into turn 1.
Last year's winner, Timothy Peters, 4th right now, Ray.
And Timothy Peters has lost 85 points in the last 8 races to the leader. As Michael was saying, it has been a tough summer, but right now they're very, very confident. Actually, all the red horse trucks were really good in practice, and Peters said we had to really not over-adjust on our truck from practice because we knew this track would get much looser in the nighttime, so they had it extra tight during practice.
And he rides 4th right now behind Ryan Blaney, who was the leader on the restart. He's fallen to 3rd.
Look at that draft, Phil. The way those trucks all bunch up on each other as they get down to turn 1. These trucks push a tremendous hole in the air. And if you're 3-4 trucks back, you're gaining 200-300 RPMs as you dive down into the corners. That's a good feeling. It's like free speed, and that's what Matt Crafton is experiencing right now.
What's up with Ryan Blaney, Hermie? He's fallen back to 3rd.
Adam, this truck is too tight. As Ray mentioned, a lot of these crew chiefs started the race too tight, thinking this racetrack would free up through the course of the night. Right now, the 29, too tight. Crew Chief Chad Kendrick is telling Ryan, hold on, let the tire pressures build up a little bit. We think it'll get better, but right now, too tight for the 29.
And Hermie, you're exactly right. A lot of the talk in the garage area was over the last couple of years how much freer this track got, how much looser it got as nighttime wore on here. Even towards all the way to the end of the race, it got looser and looser. So that was a conscious effort by Chad Kendrick, Ryan Blaney, to start this truck a little bit on the tight side, knowing that, or feeling like it's going to free up as we go.
Here's what's amazing to me about Timothy Peters. Not that he's in the top 5, but the fact that he's done it this early in the race after starting 17th. He's one of those that paid the price in qualifying, just like Johnny Sauter. Started outside the top 15. He's 7th right now, and Ron Hornaday has slipped to 12th, but he had been in the top 10 as well.
Another truck I have my eye on is Eric Jones. You can see Sauter there racing with Spencer Gallagher off turn 4, but Eric Jones has a really fast truck. That's Eric there ahead of that battle between Gallagher and Sauter. We know how fast this 51 truck is with Kyle Busch behind the wheel. Oh, we got a spinner.
Second caution of the night. It's for the 99 of Brian Silas. He too was exiting turn 4 when he got into the infield grass, was running 17th when he had his issue.
We've completed 13 laps right now. Sometimes if we would get close to 30, NASCAR would go ahead and deem the caution flag the competition caution, but we're too far away from that right now.
Norm Benning, the first truck, 1 lap down, so he will get the free pass. Tough break for Brian Silas. Remember a couple of weeks ago, our last 1.5 mile race inside the top 10 at Chicagoland. Had a top 10 run earlier this year at Texas as well.
Wow, he just got loose up off the turn. And how's that feel? I mean, you're coming off a corner, probably running 160 miles an hour, and the thing just snaps around on you, as you can see here.
It was laid off the corner as well, it seemed like. You see, got a little bit looser just as the racetrack is flattening out at the exit of turn 4.
You might think a little bit of a bobble down low in the corner, and it just magnified to a spin off.
14 laps complete here at Las Vegas. Darrell Wallace Jr., the race leader in the Rhino Linings 350. Six races to go for the Camping World Truck Series, and 4 drivers have their eye on the top prize. Teammates Matt Crafton and Johnny Sauter. Ryan Blaney, who started on the pole tonight, and our race leader, Darrell Wallace Jr., all 4 running inside the top 10. 16 laps complete in the Rhino Linings 350 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Thanks for being with us on a Saturday night here on Fox Sports 1. Resetting the top 5. Darrell Wallace Jr., Herman Quiroga, Ryan Blaney, Timothy Peters, and Matt Crafton.
You know, you can learn so much by strolling around the garage area. Talked to Jerry Baxter, Bubba Wallace's crew chief. He said, we got the best truck, I believe. I talked to Timothy Peters' team. We're going to win the race. We've got the best truck. Eric Jones, everybody down there thinks they've got the best truck, but if you look at the early going, the move that Peters has made to the front, the way Jones has raced to the front, Wallace out front leading, they all have a good argument right now. Fast trucks.
But we know this racetrack is going to change as it cools off here. It's amazing how much cooler it is since the sun went down. Remember, all the practice and qualifying was done in bright sunshine here.
Well, and the one truck everybody agreed on that was the best in practice, Darrell Wallace Jr. That's not changed in the race, Hermie.
Great start to tonight's race for Darrell Wallace Jr. Adam, and the 54 team knows this is a crucial night for them. Their boss man Kyle Busch not here. A chance to lead some laps, win a race, get maximum bonus points. Right now he is 35 points out of the lead for the championship. And Bubba said before this race started, we need to win this race tonight and get every possible point that we can to stay in this championship battle and put some pressure on those top three.
6 times this year he's finished inside the top 2, talking about Darrell Wallace Jr. twice making a trip to victory lane. So it's our second caution of the night, and there were 2 trucks in particular that I want to mention that came down pit road. Jason White and Taylor Mawson. Both of them got 4 tires. We know we're going to have a competition caution in 14 laps. Does that mean they go fuel only then, perhaps gain some track position?
That's exactly what that means.
Yeah, Jason White's a gambler. He came to Las Vegas and played in the World Series of Poker. He made the money round. He can get it done behind the card table, and he told me, he said, you watch tonight, I'm going to make some ground and turn some heads. And the way to do that is mix up your strategy. That truck was mired back outside of the top 15. They make a play on pit road right now, stay out, put himself up front. Stay out or maybe get a little gas. Heck, if you're a real gambler, you just stay out.
That's what this town is all about.
I don't think you can gamble because you're too close to, you can only run about 50 laps, so you're too close to your pit window to really gamble and not take fuel.
I went all in on a 7-6 pair hand. That's me not. I'm a gambler.
Is that good? I'm not sure about that.
I really started down a road I wasn't sure either.
I don't think so. I don't think. We'll have to ask Jay White.
He'll know.
Perhaps the desert sun is starting to hit all of us at this stage of the day. We talked about the top 5 for the restart. Eric Jones will be in the 6th position. Spencer Gallagher, Johnny Sauter, Joey Coulter, Joe Nemechek make up the top 10.
And I can't emphasize too much how hard it is to run that low line, Phil. We watched Bubba do it down on the bottom. We saw Ryan Blaney do it. Now it's going to be up to Armand Quiroga. We've seen a lot of aggression out of Armand. While he's tucked down on the bottom of the racetrack with Bubba Wallace to his outside, his truck will want to get loose. He needs to be really careful and watch that. It's early in the going. You better just mind your P's and Q's as you race side by side at this high-speed racetrack.
You know, it almost seems like on these mile-and-a-half tracks that the new nose this year that these trucks have is making that a little bit easier than it used to be. Used to, every time you saw a truck on the inside, he would spin out.
Outside lane for our leader, Bubba Wallace.
Great start down on the inside for Armand Quiroga. Got a good jump down into turn 1. And look at the run Peters has got up on that high side.
Bunch of Toyotas up in the front. Peters looking outside.
He's
trying to grab the top spot off of turn 2. He's going to get by Wallace and try to do the same with his teammate Armand Quiroga. 17 on point at Las Vegas. How about that?
How about Ryan Blaney jumps up to the 2nd spot? We saw Timothy Peters do some great restarts last year, carried him to victory lane.
Eric Jones outside lane, restarted 6th up to 4th. Not bad.
Timothy Peters from that 4th starting spot to the lead. So crew chiefs and spotters are making notes right now. It looks like the outside for a restart is going to be a good place to be.
Timothy Peters looks like he lost the nose for just an instant there.
Working lap 20 of 146. Look at the Camping World Truck Series here at Las Vegas.
Look who's pushed their way into the 3rd spot, Eric Jones.
Well, the Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks going in opposite directions on the restart. Bubba Wallace is falling back, and Eric Jones working his way to the front, 3rd right now, and he's going to make a play here, looking to the inside of Ryan Blaney for 2nd.
He told us that he thought he had a very good truck here, that Toyota number 51. Moves to the inside of Ryan Blaney in the battle for 2nd.
This is the same truck that Kyle had a couple of weeks ago on the mile-and-a-half at Chicago when he had to drop to the back twice, and there was never a doubt who was going to get the checkered flag.
You know, Adam, I've been impressed with Eric Jones ever since he showed up. Obviously, the big win at Phoenix last fall. He won again this summer at Iowa. But the job he did at Texas in the spring, remember how loose that truck was, Phil? He was literally all over the place, but he kept it pointing in the right direction for the most part and brought it home to a respectable finish. This kid is the real deal, and he's chasing down Timothy Peters.
Remember, he had just turned 18, so he was just then eligible for a mile and a half at Texas.
But since that time, he went nationwide racing for Joe Gibbs on a mile and a half at Chicago. In his debut, finished inside the top 10. So this kid understands what it's like to do battle on the intermediate tracks, and he may understand what it's like to be out front at Las Vegas because he is all over Timothy Peters.
He's heating up that 17 truck with a lot of power under the hood and a good handling race truck. This is impressive. Kyle Busch Motorsports team this year has been the best week in and week out, it seems, and Kyle certainly had a lot of success, and Eric Jones is going to drive that truck to the front.
That last lap, Bubba Wallace was the fastest truck on the racetrack, only 1/10 of a second off what the pole speed was.
Blaney back there in third behind this lead duo. Herman Quiroga fourth, and you mentioned Bubba Wallace.
Look at Bubba wheeling
right
it
now
on the outside. He's up to fourth around the outside. Quiroga looking for Blaney on the inside. What a strong corner for Bubba Wallace.
That's amazing how far he led this race on the restart, how far he fell back, and that was just circumstances. There wasn't anything wrong with his truck. He just got beat on the restart by a truck in the second row.
But we all know this. In NASCAR these days, restarts can be where the race is won and lost. We see it so many times, week in, week out, at every level, as you see Matt Crafton, our championship leader, working inside the top 5 as he goes in front of Herman Quiroga, and Quiroga says, forget about it, I'm going to take that spot back.
Now we should see Bubba Wallace in that third spot really gain on these leaders. He's perfect position to draft. If he can get that draft and run up to Timothy Peters and Eric Jones, look for Bubba to make a three-way fight for the lead.
Very impressed with Spencer Gallagher. Solid in practice today, both he and his teammate Joey Coulter. Only his 6th start of the year, but in his last 3 outings, he's finished inside the top 15. And as we said, right now being scored 7th, his teammate Joey Coulter back in the 15th position.
Check this out. He has been trying to get to the outside of Peters. Got a good run through the center of 3 and 4. Drops it to the bottom on the front straightaway. Strong move by Eric Jones.
Eric Jones using every inch of the racetrack to get the inside lane into turn 1 and off of turn 2. We'll see if he has what it takes. This is where Peters was able to get the lead on the restart, and once again that outside lane so strong when they come off the corner.
See what Eric Jones can do down there. Can he drive in the corner here? He looks like he's going to slide up in front of Timothy Peters and take that lead.
Great move by Eric Jones. Started 13th. After things got a little bit mixed up in qualifying, it took him 27 laps, and now the 51 is on point, and problems for the 08. That's Jimmy Weller, who apparently has gotten into the wall.
Yeah, Weller hit the wall coming off turn 4. Great qualifying run by Jimmy up in the 11th spot. You could see just hard contact in the outside wall. He needs to come to pit road. There's no way that truck won't blow a right front tire and make that damage even worse as hard as he hit.
And Michael, we're just a few laps away from that competition caution, which could help Weller, who was running 19th when he got the wall.
He just needs to drastically slow that speed down to try to make it those 2 or 3 more laps without cutting down that right front tire.
Drastically. I agree, Phil.
Not even 30 laps in. We've had 6 lead changes among 5 different drivers, and right now it's Eric Jones on point, leading Timothy Peters.
And here comes Bubba Wallace. I talked about the draft and how Wallace would close on these leaders. He's there.
A full 2/10 of a second faster that last lap than both our 51 truck as well as the 17.
This is some great racing, not only for the lead, but all throughout the field. Really competitive, the Truck Series.
Kyle Busch in Dover, Delaware, got a win earlier today. Starts in the front row tomorrow in our 3rd race in the chase in 2014, and got to be loving what he sees at his home track. 2 of his drivers inside the top 3 right now, and Eric Jones leading the race.
Hey, the Dover is an elimination race. You know, we're going to send 4, take 4 guys out of the chase. You better tune in to race day tomorrow to see what's going on up there in Dover.
This is a Busch kind of day. He started with the win in Dover, and now he's leading here late at night in Vegas.
Well, and don't discount his chances tomorrow to get the weekend sweep.
That's actually not Kyle driving that truck.
Well, it's his truck.
Yeah.
That makes it the same family.
So the caution is out. And this would be the competition caution that we talked about.
We talked about Weller slowing well down, Phil. That truck went to the pit before he could make it all the way to the caution with that right front tire flat. But there's your leader. Eric Jones driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports. What a great first 30 laps. A little bit of a reset here, put on some tires, make a chassis adjustment, see who can make the right adjustment and close the gap.
You know, Kyle Busch considers this a home track for him. He grew up racing at the Bull Ring, which is in the parking lot of this mile-and-a-half super speedway.
He's had a lot of success here as a driver, but his team has never won here, and perhaps tonight is the night they get it done, and so far so good. We mentioned the strength of Jones and Wallace, who are first and third, sandwiched in between last year's winner Timothy Peters. Ryan Blaney started on the pole as fourth. Our championship leader Matt Crafton is fifth. Armand Quiroga, Spencer Gallagher, Joe Nemechek, Johnny Sauter, and John West Townley, who spun in qualifying, has worked his way up to 10th. Pit stops will come as we complete lap 32.
See if Jay White, some of those guys that pitted, got tires earlier, decide just to come in and get a little gas, grab some track position.
Here they come, Ray.
Timothy Peters was a little bit tight in the center of the corner. They debated about putting a spring rubber in, but they said, let's do it with wedge. That'll be better. Then whenever we look at the top of the screen, Peters will come in and do that pit stop. In the middle, you see the number 51 of Eric Jones. He said, my truck is really good through the center. And did they cross the line? They had to back up slightly. Now to Bubba Wallace with Hermie.
Ray Bubba Wallace apologized to his team for spinning the tires on that restart and getting put 3 wide, dropping back just inside the top 5, making his way back towards the front. 4 tires, fuel, no adjustment for the 54. Now the 29 has been tight since they dropped the green flag. It is a track bar adjustment, 4 tires and fuel as well for Ryan Blaney. The 54 down and away, Eric Jones as well. A race off pit road. It looks like a dead heat between Timothy Peters and the 54 of Bubba Wallace.
It was a dogfight, but give it to Timothy Peters, who got 4 tires. Darrell Wallace Jr. comes off second. Joey Coulter goes 2 tires on the first stop of the night, jumps up to third. Armand Quiroga, Matt Crafton 4th and 5th, and losing 5 positions, the 51 of Eric Jones. And as Ray pointed out, he slid through his pit stall.
I was watching him make his pit stop, and I'm not sure he crossed the yellow line or the white line, whatever the case may be, but it looked like the official made him back up. Listen, he's going to lock up the front tires. You see the front tire is going to stop turning. You see,
ooh, he was on
just an inch.
He hit the line, Phil, and then the truck rebounded back. So I think the official was right in this first call to say back that truck up. The truck rolled back a little bit.
Under caution for the 3rd time tonight, 32 laps complete. First 34 laps have been very entertaining in the Rhino Linings 350 from Las Vegas for the Camping World Truck Series. As we get ready for the restart, Timothy Peters shows the way. Bubba Wallace is second.
On our last restart, Peters was 4th, and he went into turn 1 and grabbed the lead. That second row, Phil, as this race winds down, I'm going to keep my eye on it. That's a great place to start. You can anticipate the start a bit, maybe get a run.
Remember, inside second row, Joey Coulter, only 2 tires on his pit stop. We'll see how that works out.
Picked up more than 10 positions in that cycle, but can he hang on after getting only 2 fresh ones under caution at lap 32? Good pit work by Armand Quiroga's team, keeping him inside the top 5.
We got to give a call to Jason White's team. We talked about his strategy. Get some tires on the early caution, a little fuel on this one. He's inside the top 10 in that 20 truck.
Well, you know, Eric Jones had the issue on pit road. Didn't lose a ton of ground. His team keeps him right in the game. Nice job battling through adversity.
3 wide, back for 5th. Matt Crafton on the inside. Coulter in the middle. Ryan Blaney gets by. Now there's a 20 truck of Jay White.
Jason pulls in behind Coulter. Kind of cut Spencer Gallagher off a little bit, but the 2 work it out.
Great to see Spencer Gallagher with a good run. Strong from Las Vegas. Allegiant Air, his sponsor, on that truck.
You know, he's had to put that truck in a lot of different positions tonight, working through traffic, racing in the draft, and he's handled each and every scenario quite nicely. 8th right now is where Gallagher is.
He's been running some late model races driving for Joey Coulter. Joey Coulter's a teammate at Gallagher Motorsports.
When we talk about the importance of the draft, Timothy Peters gets the lead on the restart. And it's nice to have teammates, right?
And this is that draft that we talked about, Adam, on the restart. Look at Kuroga just shoving Peters past Jones down on the, or excuse me, Bubba Wallace down on the inside. That's what it's all about. You get wound up and you got that momentum. Later in the race, Kuroga might have been looking for a place to stick that truck 3 wide.
That's a draft plus right there.
You know, the intermediate program has not been unbelievable for the Red Horse guys in 2014. It's amazing what a little confidence will do.
Look at this battle.
Last year, Timothy Peters won this race, and this year, Red Horse Racing has been incredible once again at Las Vegas.
Wow, that was so close. It looked like Bubba Wallace trying to just peek to the inside of Peters. There wasn't room there. That allowed Jones a big run on the outside.
How strong is Eric Jones tonight? Started 13th, drove to the front, had the issue on pit road, and he's a player once again, side by side with his teammate as they go off of turn 2.
Top 3 trucks have driven away a little bit from the 4th place truck of Kuroga. He has Ryan Blaney lined up behind him.
Now, and look at wife Sarah as Timothy is out front. Some anxiety on the pit box, huh?
Well, it's been a tough summer for this team and for Timothy Peters. We talked about the points he's lost, how that championship has slipped out of his grasp. Winning here at Vegas would be huge.
Well, and I think that makes the last 6 races so big for this team to kind of serve as a springboard into next season, Phil.
Yeah, without a doubt, too, because that team works really hard, Red Horse Racing, with Kuroga and Timothy Peters. And they also have their 3rd truck, Brian Eichler, here. Brian started out the season and had to back off due to funding. They have him back here at Las Vegas. He right now is running in the 14th spot.
6 right now, our championship leader, Matt Crafton. Haven't heard a lot from him tonight, Hermie.
This is the right front tire, Adam, that came off the 88 of Matt Crafton. I checked the 29 pit, no problem. 54 pit, no problem. But the 88, you can see the cords showing on the inside of the right front tire of this 88. Now, the crew says they think about 8 to 10 more laps, they could be in trouble. But they also think the more rubber gets put down on the racetrack, they think this problem will subside. But of the leaders, the 88, the only issue on my end of pit road.
And Hermie, you have to remember, that's only 22 green flag laps because we had a couple caution flags prior to the competition caution, plus qualifying. He would have qualified on those tires, so he probably made a couple runs during qualifying. But again, so probably only 25, 26 laps, green flag laps on those tires.
Well, it's certainly possible that we'll have a green flag run here tonight that would be in excess of 50 laps, which would really put some wear and tear on those tires.
There's your battle for the lead. We saw Eric Jones peek to the outside when Timothy Peters was leading, and now Bubba Wallace is doing the same thing, trying to get that truck up on the high side and make the move around Peters. Just not quite there. It looks like that Bubba's truck is faster right now, Phil, but getting to Peters and getting around him is 2 different things.
See the wiggle there for Eric Jones into the corner?
That's what I think it's hard for folks to understand, how hard it is to run these trucks nearly wide open around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It looks like the trucks are comfortable, but these racers are driving right on the edge of control. That's why when you get down on the inside of someone, you've got to be careful. When you change lanes, all the aerodynamics that go on from a truck ahead of you changes the handling of your truck. It's a tough job.
And these guys are running qualifying type speeds. That last lap, both Timothy Peters and Bubba Wallace were within about 0.3 of a second of the very fastest lap in qualifying. That speed that Timothy Peters ran the last lap would have qualified 6th.
And what about this battle with Bubba? We saw Eric Jones do the same thing in the other black truck. He got up to Peters, went high, decided that wasn't going to work, dove to the bottom and made the move around Timothy Peters. So it looks like those Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks have the speed to win this race, but Peters has the experience and the knowledge that it takes to win here at Vegas. Be interesting to see which one pays off.
Sure, the traffic on the radio has been very busy for Team 17 because he's out front, but he's got some hungry hounds behind him. Bubba Wallace running 2nd. Eric Jones is 3rd. Herman Kuroga 4th. Ryan Blaney completes the top 5. We're 46 laps in to the 146 that make up the Rhino Linings 350. Good to have you with us. Late night Saturday in Las Vegas. 51 of 146 laps complete for the Camping World Truck Series here in Las Vegas. It is the Rhino Linings 350. And when we went to break, it was Timothy Peters that had the top spot. One little wiggle, and now he's a runner-up, and it's Bubba Wallace on point.
They're running so fast around this racetrack. We were watching Timothy Peters over in turn number 2. He had just a little bit of a bobble, and it cost him so much momentum. That allowed Bubba Wallace to get beside him. He was able to make the pass. Eric Jones almost able to make the pass. Timothy Peters got back in front of him. Watch this now. This is going into turn number 1. Watch Timothy Peters as they get toward the exit of turn number 2. See, he's got a little bit of a gap here. He wiggles, has to chase it up the racetrack, and that's all the momentum it took for Bubba Wallace to drive right on by.
Clean air is always big when you come to an intermediate track. But, Michael, I'm looking at that 54, and once he got the top spot, he has checked out almost a second advantage now.
Yeah, I could tell that the 17 truck of Peters was holding up Bubba Wallace a bit. He was just all over him. And anytime you have 2 trucks, especially when you consider, Adam, that the second truck is running in that dirty area. He's having trouble getting the nose to stick as well as he wants. Anytime you can hang that close to another truck, when you finally do make the move, you're going to gap him. And that's exactly what we've seen, Ray, happen to 17 of Timothy Peters. He's fallen off the lead pace.
Remember, Michael, I told you before the pit stop he was a bit tight in the center, so Marcus Richmond decided to go with a wedge adjustment, and Timothy said that adjustment now has made him loose up off of the corner, especially in turn number 4. So they're going to try to make an air pressure adjustment and maybe even go with a spring rubber on our next round of pit stops.
Well, Ray, the 29 of Ryan Blaney, very frustrated with his truck to start the race. Now even more frustrated with traffic on the racetrack. We caught some radio when Ryan was battling with Herman Quiroga.
Stop. Get out of my way, I'm going to wreck him. Running all the way to the racetrack, right in front of me. Tempo, but I'll talk to him. Calm down here. Go get him here. Twice he's almost wrecked me, so pretty sick of it.
That's Ryan Blaney. Now caution on the racetrack, Adam.
5th time tonight. You see Ryan Blaney on track, and as we see him, it's Herman Quiroga making his way down the pit lane, and there's the 20 of Jason White.
Yeah, Jason's made some pretty significant contact in that Gunbroker Chevrolet with the outside wall. You see all the damage. Right as this was happening, Herman Quiroga was on pit road. He elected, I think, just to ride on down pit road to make sure he stayed on the lead lap. Great call by Butch Hilton.
Quiroga right now is 19th as we watch the replay of what happened to Jason.
Oh, Quiroga was coming to pit road.
And that sent Ryan Blaney.
Tyler Reddick in the team truck.
Was that Reddick?
Yeah.
He went up the hill, and that took Jason White right into the outside wall. Look at that.
I couldn't tell if Reddick got into Quiroga, but he definitely had contact when he slid up in to the 20 of Jason White on board with Quiroga.
Just no way that Reddick knew what was happening and had to make an evasive move, a great move by Reddick to get around that truck of Quiroga, but it unfortunately swept Jay White right into the outside wall.
Man, you hate that for Jason White. Limited schedule. You want to come out, make some noise, and unfortunately, he is a victim here, bringing out the caution for the 4th time this evening. So 56 laps complete. It's Darrell Wallace Jr., the race leader. Timothy Peters is 2nd. Eric Jones, Matt Crafton, and Ryan Blaney are the top 5. Spencer Gallagher continues to hang tough in 6th. Joey Coulter, his teammate, is 7th. John West Townley, Brian Eichler, Ben Kennedy are the top 10. Are you going to pit here? Last time they were on pit road 24 laps ago. And Ray, we've got our answer. Here they come your way.
On the competition caution at lap 33, Timothy Peters came in 2nd, went out 1st, and they're going to try a track position play again. Marcus Richmond has said, let's do right side tires only and try to keep this thing up front. He's on the top. In the middle, you see the 51 of Eric Jones. He does slide the tires again a little bit that time, but easily in the center of the box. Long stop for Peters. Looks like they're going to go with 2 side tires also for the 51. Hermie?
Well, Darrell Wallace Jr. really likes the view from out front in this 54 truck. They talked about 4 tires, but it will take 2. The race off pit road. It looks like the 54 will win, followed by the 17 of Timothy Peters.
And Hermie, I think a lot of different thought processes here when it comes to strategy. The 54 going with 2 tires. The same for Timothy Peters. And Brian Eichler also gets right sides only, goes from 9th to 3rd. Coming off the pit lane, Matt Crafton, Eric Jones complete the top 5 as they battle off the pit road at lap 57.
Got to give a call to John West Townley. He's been really strong tonight, running inside the top 10. He leaves pit road after losing 2 spots, but remains in the top 10.
Gamesmanship coming to pit road. Are you going to pit? Are you not? Yes, we are. Thank you very much. We'll reset the running order when we come back to Las Vegas. Back underway in Las Vegas, Timothy Peters, Darrell Wallace Jr. restart on the front row. Both drivers taking 2 tires on this cycle of pit stops. 61 of 146 complete here tonight.
Ron Eichler's a third-place truck, the same thing now. How about Eric Jones? Looks to the bottom. Peters blocks him.
Matt Crafton in the mix. Ryan Blaney looking to make it 3 wide as they come off of turn 2. Spencer Gallagher is there. So is Brian Eichler.
3 wide on the front straightaway.
That's that same battle. They won't let it go.
Gallagher pushed really high, and see if Eichler can get out of this mess that he's gotten himself into. Good play on pit road to get up to the top 5, and he's going to hang on.
Right behind him, Ben Kennedy is there. Haven't talked about him a lot tonight. And John West Townley continues inside the top 10.
Yeah, John West made his way from the back up into the top 10 before the caution flag came out. Mike Beam's guys got him out there, remains in the top 10.
Darrell Wallace Jr. so strong when he gets out front. We talked about that earlier. And Matt Crafton, who's been hovering 4th, 5th, 6th, but has never really been a part of this lead group, is there right now. Let's see what that 88 truck can do.
And you know, Crafton's experience, his knowledge of what it takes to win one of these races could pay off. We talk about coming to pit road, making adjustments. Crafton knows exactly what he needs to feel out of that truck. And you're right, Adam, he's starting to close the gap on the leaders.
Brian Eichler making some noise tonight. Ray's 5th.
And here's the deal, Adam. He said his truck was not good at all in dirty air, so they wanted to do something to try to gain that track position. They went with right side tires only on that last round of pit stops, and he said when he's right tight on somebody's bumper, his truck is wicked loose. Hermie?
As we saw, the 77 of Iman Quiroga was trying to get to pit road with a vibration. They came down pit road, put 4 tires on, thought they may have had a loose wheel, but crew chief Butch Hilton said all the wheels look good. They came back in another time, raised the hood, make sure they didn't have any rubs or anything going wrong with the suspension underneath the front of that 77 Toyota, but they have no idea what the issue was. But they do have 4 tires, stayed on the lead lap, and right now Iman is running competitive speed, so they're hoping it was something that maybe just went away, or perhaps a issue with a wheel weight maybe on one of the wheels.
Well, that caution's so big for them, Hermie. As you mentioned, they stay on the lead lap, and right in front of him, Johnny Sauter, who's been outside the top 10 virtually all night long. His teammate, though, at the front. That's Matt Crafton running 3rd, but about to drop back because Eric Jones starting to make his presence felt here on the restart.
Look at that run. Crafton gets through the center of the corner, though. Eric Jones, I thought, had him pass down into the corner, but now Crafton's able to pull past Jones. A lot of power under the hood of that 88. Was able to drive right around Jones.
Look at the 51 just bouncing around as you go on board with Matt Crafton. Ray?
On our first round of pit stops, Eric Jones was a little bit snug in 3 and 4, so they made air pressure adjustment on the right sides. And this last time when he came in, he said his truck had really started to go free. It was about a 6 on the loose scale. So Eric Phillips decided they needed to go with 4 tires to try to help the balance on that. They're playing with changing some of the fans on the right front too. So on lap 57, they went with 4 tires on truck number 51, excuse me.
Guys, remember, this race is following the same trend it has for the last couple of years. It gets looser and looser and looser as it goes. Situation with Eric Jones. This truck got a little bit too free.
And what a challenge for these teams. 2 practice sessions today, both of them before noon. So it's a little bit of a guessing game as you try and get your truck ready to race under the lights.
That's why it's fun to watch a guy like Matt Crafton be able to just identify what he needs for chassis adjustments and race his way into contention. But that kid right behind him there, Eric Jones, looking to the outside of Crafton, he's tough.
Everybody facing Darrell Wallace Jr., who right now has the top spot in Las Vegas. Just past halfway in the Rhino Linings 350. 72 laps to go. It continues to be Darrell Wallace Jr. who has the race lead. His advantage over second place Timothy Peters, 0.7 of a second. The team truck, Eric Jones is third. Matt Crafton and Brian Eichler complete the top 5.
All 5 Toyotas at the front of this field. Peters showing some good speed there, not losing a lot of ground to Bubba Wallace, as you can see. Eric Jones around the outside of Crafton there as we went to break. He's got a fast truck as well. It's hard to handicap this thing, isn't it, Phil? We got a lot of guys that have speed when they get toward the front. Great battle.
While we were away at commercial break, we saw Eric Jones pull right up on the back bumper of the 88 of Matt Crafton.
What's going on with the 88, Hermie?
Listening to Matt Crafton, we mentioned a little bit of tire wear on the right front, but he's been holding steady right inside the top 5, but he's not completely happy with his truck. We caught this on the radio from Matt Crafton.
Pitiful thing I've ever had down the straightaway.
Well, there you have it. He's not liking the horsepower down the straightaway, but it could have something to do with traffic and the way you get off the corner. But right now, Matt Crafton running 4th, but wants a little bit more steam down the straightaway.
We talked about Eric Jones being loose. He said he was a 6 out of 10. When he came off turn 4th, that wasn't an 8 or a 9, Phil. This kid can hang on to one when it's sideways, and that truck was wobbling around, but you could tell he never came out of the gas. Crafton was right on him, never lost an inch.
It's a 6, but it ramps up to an 8 on occasion.
Well, and he's got a long way to go because it's been 20 laps since our last pit stop, and if we don't get a caution, he's got to ride this thing for another 30 or so.
And you're asking a lot of your driver if your truck is that loose. We're going to run nearly wide open down through these corners. We're trying to make passes to the inside. We saw Jones around the outside of Crafton. That's a tough job to hang onto your truck when you're talking about one that's that loose and that far to go.
I've been really curious to see what the 2 tires did for Bubba Wallace and Timothy Peters. Right now, it's looking pretty good, like 2 tires may be the way to go to get some track position on that last pit stop.
Well, and Brian Eichler did the same thing. He stayed inside the top 5.
Yeah, impressive run for Eichler. We talked about his truck earlier today. In practice, it looked like he was really strong and steady. His average lap times were good, and now he's parlayed that into a solid top 5 run here in the race.
So Eric Jones is third right now, more than a second behind his teammate who's out front, Ray.
They've had some really good luck with this truck that Eric's driving tonight, Adam. This is chassis 21. It won 2 races a year ago at Chicago and Homestead, and this year Kyle Busch has won on 3 mile-and-a-halfs with it. He got the victory at Charlotte, also at Kentucky, and at Chicago. And Eric Jones is driving this thing loose, as you said. We all know that Kyle loves his truck loose, but right now it looks like Crafton's going to go by on the high side.
And the 88 does complete the pass. So our top 5 with 80 laps complete: Bubba Wallace, Timothy Peters, Matt Crafton, Eric Jones, and Brian Eichler. Good to have you with us on a Saturday night here on Fox Sports 1. He came in 4th in the title fight, talking about Darrell Wallace Jr. And tonight, he's done nothing to hurt his chances when it comes to winning a championship. Darrell Wallace Jr. out front here at Las Vegas. He's led 47 of our 86 laps. New driver behind him now. That's Matt Crafton, who's gotten around Timothy Peters while we were away.
We heard Matt Crafton talk about not liking the way that engine's running down the straightaway, but he's certainly making up for it in the corners because that truck is fast. He drove up to second now and chasing down Bubba Wallace. Remember, we talked at the top of the show how without Kyle Busch here, that leaves a lot of bonus points. You can gain as many as 6 points on a second place driver right now. So if Bubba Wallace or somebody like that can win this race and gain all those bonus points, that'll go a long way towards getting this championship.
Talks about Crafton and how fast that truck is right now. Watch him move to the high side of Timothy Peters. He just picks a different line, and as they go through the center of the corner, man, Crafton makes a strong run off the turn and clears Peters on the same straightaway.
So the 51 of Eric Jones is now scored 4th, and it did not go his way while we were in break.
Remember when we talked about a 6 out of 10? It went to a 10. I mean,
might have been a 12.
He got way sideways down to the center of the corner. That kid has been hanging on to a loose truck all night long, and that time it almost bit him.
But Phil, you said it. He missed one corner, and it cost him an entire lap to regain the momentum and get the rhythm back where it needed to be.
And now he finds himself 2.5 seconds behind their leader, and yet he was the second fastest truck on the racetrack the last lap.
He needed a lap or two, Adam, not only to get his momentum back, but get his breath back. That's diving down in that corner nearly wide open and then having that truck just snap sideways. You don't get to experience that very often at that type of speed when you're 17, 18 years old. That's something that comes with time and experience, and it's impressive to see him hang onto that truck with such a big bobble down in the center of the turn.
I mentioned how loose the truck was when he drove it earlier this season at Texas. Came home 11th on that Friday night, and tonight he scored in the 4th position.
He's also beginning, like Phil said, the last time by, again, the fastest truck on the track. So he's found him a groove there, even though his truck is loose, enough of a separation between the truck ahead of him and behind where he's making some good time. But where it's going to get difficult, Phil, is when he catches Peters. Then he's got a battle with Arrow and a mechanically loose truck.
And what all the drivers say is these trucks get looser as you get closer to another truck. So that will compound that situation.
If you're going to be a great race car driver, you got to be able to forget. Eric Jones certainly doing that. And back behind him, teammates, you got Joey Coulter in the mix there. His teammate Spencer Gallagher. Taylor Malsom, haven't talked about him a lot tonight. Great qualifying run, and here he is in the top 10.
They're doing a nice job here. Had a great couple top 5 finishes this year already in a limited run here for Turner Scott Motorsports.
Strong.
The 13 truck of Jeb Burton, we haven't talked about him at all. He's made his way up into the top 10, having a good solid run.
Yeah, you know, we've seen a lot out of Balsam, a couple of a strong run at Michigan. We've seen Jeb be right there, but what I'm most impressed with is Spencer Gallagher. He's running in the top 10, racing for that 7th position there. I like what this kid's doing tonight. He's come to Vegas and put himself on the map, a guy that can run solidly inside the top 10.
And what's great about both he and Malsom, running a part-time schedule. They're not doing this every week, so it takes a little time to get your feet under you. And, you know, Malsom, that 32 team, really have been great all season long because they've had different drivers, and each has been able to deliver. Ben Rhodes, who, of course, has locked up the K&N East Championship, has had a couple of top 10s. And how about last week at New Hampshire? Cameron Haley, first time he had been in a truck on an oval, he comes home with a career-best top 10.
Jeb now trying to make the move underneath Spencer Gallagher. That is a battle for the 9th spot.
Spencer was right on the battle for 7th a lap or so ago. Maybe a slip, and it's invited Jeb Burton to the inside. Jeb drives hard down into turn 3 and makes that pass on Gallagher.
Burton had a lot of success last season, his rookie campaign, on the 1.5 mile tracks. In fact, his only career win came at Texas on the 1.5 mile, and he's starting to show some signs here tonight. 9th in the running order after getting around Gallagher.
Right now we're showing 52 laps to go. That means we're in our window. If the caution flag were to come out right now, that these guys could make it the rest of the way on fuel.
And they would definitely come down, get 4 tires, gas her up, and make that decision if the caution falls. Look at Crafton. He's driven. We talked about how when you see a truck in 2nd position be that close to the guy ahead of him, he's got a better truck. You could see Bubba wiggling off turn 2. Crafton's closing right in. You watch for Crafton to make the move, maybe look to the high side. He did that earlier and made the run around the outside of his teammate, Eric Jones.
But this is good. Great information for Bubba Wallace. Remember, 2 tires on that truck. We've gone almost 40 laps since that last pit stop. So if they get in a window where there's about 30 laps to go, everyone will realize that 2 tires will probably be the way to go, and they'll be just as good for a 30-lap run.
Isn't Crafton, though, a typical veteran? Start out slow in practice, gain on it, qualify up front, methodically work your way to the front in the race, and here we are. 50 laps to go, and he's got the leader in his sights. Bubba Wallace out front. Then it's Matt Crafton, Timothy Peters, Eric Jones, and Brian Eichler in Las Vegas.
Clear. 1 down at the bottom.
44 laps to go in the Rhino Linings 350 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Just about time for a cycle of green flag pit stops, and I think we can all agree this is a wonderful time of year to be a sports fan. NASCAR's playoffs heating up. The MLB playoffs just around the corner. You got college football, the NFL, so much going on, and there is only one way to get up to speed following tonight's race. It's Fox Sports Live with Jay and Dan. You can see it here on Fox Sports 1, and as always, streaming live at Fox Sports Go. I would say there's a chance, which will be teeing it up for day 3 in just a couple of hours, I think, over in Scotland.
Nothing better to me than a Saturday night NASCAR race, and this one is shaping up to be very, very entertaining. We've had guys show strength and race to the front, but they can't get away from the pack. We've watched Bubba Wallace grab the lead from Timothy Peters and look like he had everything it was going to take to drive away and be dominant, but that's not happening.
Scheduled green flag pit stops. Ryan Blaney the first, Hermie.
The truck has been tight for Ryan Blaney. They're going to make a chassis adjustment and an air pressure adjustment. They've got to take 4 tires on this truck to try to get the balance back right. A little bit slow on the right side. To come down and work on the left side. You see the track bar adjustment. They've raised the track bar trying to free this truck up. 4 tires for Ryan Blaney. The 54 of Darrell Wallace Jr. hits his pit stall as well. He will take 4 tires, sticker tires this time as well. It'll be air pressure only for the 54. When not affected by traffic, his truck's a little bit free on entry to the center, a little bit tight on exit.
Go, 3900, 3900.
This is good timing for our leaders. Everybody comes to pit road. You can get 4 tires, not lose a lot of track position with a normal pit stop race. So leaders are liking this green flag cycle.
17 wants to go with 4 tires here, Michael. Remember, they did 4 the first time, then went with right tires. That's going to snug him up just a little bit. We also saw the 51 is on pit road. That is Eric Jones. They are going, getting that Sunoco fuel in, and these two came off of the track right side by side. Looks like they're going to leave just the same way.
Brian Eichler came down pit road with them, running inside the top 5. Extended stop for the 7. John West Townley also getting his green flag service at lap 107. These are scheduled stops under green as we get ready for the stretch run here at Las Vegas, and all of it is cycled through. The new leader is our championship leader, Matt Crafton. Taylor Malsom is second, and speaking of Crafton, here he comes with 39 laps to go, Hermie.
Well, this is a very important stop for this 88. Obviously, want to see where he shakes down with the 54 on the racetrack now. He ran him down on the racetrack, but the truck got tight when he got in the traffic behind the 54. So as he makes his way down pit road, they are going to take 4 tires. This time it will be scuffs. He slides it into the pit box. 4 scuffed tires. Pack the truck full of fuel, and they will not make a chassis adjustment. Air pressure only on the 88 of Matt Crafton. He tried to get back on the racetrack and maybe gain some track position on the 54.
It's like a little trouble in that left rear.
Go, 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 go.
Hermie, maybe some lug nuts fell off. The team was having to put them back on and hit that wheel again. So some time lost there for Crafton.
Taylor Malsom had worked his way up to second. He gets his service, as does Ben Kennedy, who has spent time inside the top 10 here tonight. And there's Armand Quiroga getting his stop. 37 to go, Hermie.
Still fighting the vibration is Armand Quiroga. You can see a wedge adjustment in both sides of this truck, putting wedge in this truck. A little bit too loose for the 77. Still fighting the vibration. 4 tires and fuel for Quiroga.
And as Quiroga leaves, so does Jeb Burton. His stop coming at lap 109. Joey Coulter shown as the race leader, but he too will have to make a pit stop here at Las Vegas. Back live in Las Vegas, Nevada. Tyler Reddick coming down pit road. He gave up the lead to do so. So that puts Bubba Wallace back out front. It is cycled through here in our green flag pit stops. His teammate Eric Jones is now behind him. Jones just went around Matt Crafton on track. Crafton scored in the 3rd spot. Timothy Peters, Ryan Blaney complete the top 5. And here's Crafton when he made his pit stop a moment ago.
Remember, Crafton was only about 0.4 of a second behind Bubba Wallace when he made this pit stop. Everything went fine on the right side. Take a look at the left rear now. They're going to have an issue. I believe some lug nuts are going to come off that left rear, Michael.
When they put the left rear tire on, you could see the carrier reaching in there trying to put some lug nuts back on. He was able to get them on. They got them tight, cost him a couple of seconds, and that relates to about a half a straightaway on the racetrack, telling you how important having executed pit stops perfectly on pit road, and that's exactly what Bubba Wallace's team did.
Michael, he's got a fast truck. His crew getting the job done as well. He's out front.
82 is about 20 back.
Down to 26 laps remaining for the Camping World Truck Series here in Las Vegas. Darrell Wallace Jr. has the race lead. Eric Jones is second. It's KBM 1-2, just like they finished earlier this season at Kentucky Speedway.
We talk about the bonus points too. Bubba Wallace has already clinched the lap leader bonus for leading the most laps. So we know he'll get a point for leading a lap and another point for leading the most laps.
You know when you could feel a storm a brewing? All the participants are there for something special to happen. Eric Jones and Matt Crafton, as we race toward our Camping World 20 to go, are charging in on Bubba Wallace. Lap after lap, both those trucks are faster than our leader. It's going to be fun to watch them when they get there.
So with that, how nervous is Kyle Busch tonight? He's got the race leader, as you pointed out, Phil. Bubba Wallace has dominated tonight. The team truck, Eric Jones riding in the second position. Michael thinks it won't be long before they're battling for the lead. Not necessarily what the owner wants to see, right? I mean, that can go wrong sometimes.
Oh, I think he'd love to see them running 1-2 like they're right now, but I'm not sure about racing each other. Exactly, and it can and has gone wrong before.
Yeah, and it's going to happen. That time by, Eric Jones was the fastest truck on the track again. Lap after lap, he's been able to do just that. Look at this battle for 8th. We got battles all over this racetrack.
Yeah, these guys have continued to battle. You see Jeb Burton's made a nice move up to the 8th spot. You've got Taylor Mawson, the 32 truck, right behind him, and then Joey Coulter, the 21, rounds out that top 10.
Phil, we get down to 20 to go here. We'll have run about 20 laps on our tires. What if the caution flies? We're going to come get 2? We're going to keep our track position? What are you thinking?
I think I'd like to put 2 right side tires on. With no more trucks on the lead lap right now, we only have 12 trucks on the lead lap. Spencer Gallagher right now is just on the verge of going a lap down.
I like what you're saying. I would get tires too. We saw 2 tires really work for some trucks that got them earlier in the race, so that could be the call that these crew chiefs are going to be faced with.
If you're a little bit loose, dump a little fuel in to give you a little more nose weight. If your truck's a little on the tight side, don't put any fuel in it. Just put right side tires on it.
Set a Las Vegas record tonight, 10 different leaders, and we've tied the record for lead changes, 17 tonight. And I'll tell you what, Johnny Sauter's really not been at the front all night long, Ray.
It has not been a good night, Adam. They're a lap down back in 14th. This could be a disaster in the points as Matt Crafton is running 3rd on the track right now. Now, earlier, Sauter said he felt like maybe that they had lost a helix in the front. That holds the spring in place. But now he said also they have an engine problem, losing a cylinder, and he said they may not be able to make it to the finish.
And Ray, you mentioned the championship implications. Sauter, who came in 7 behind his teammate, now finds himself 19 out in the championship as we go to our Camping World 20 to go. 20 laps remaining.
Remember that 1 second lead Bubba Wallace had on Eric Jones a couple laps ago? That's what he has right now. That's about a 1/4 second.
Remember that storm of brewing that I was talking about? It's fixing to all come together because those 2 trucks right there, class of the field, but the one in second is faster than the one in first.
I think Kyle Busch just got out of his chair in his motor home at the Monster Mile. His drivers 1-2. Tight racing in the front here at Las Vegas, and it has produced another lead change. Our 18th of the night. Teammates doing battle. Eric Jones now in front of Darrell Wallace Jr. with 13 to go.
Bubba Wallace got slowed down a little bit behind the lap truck of John West Townley as they were putting John West, the 11th place runner, 1 lap down. That momentum was just enough to allow Eric Jones to get a bit of a run on him.
And when Eric came off turn 4, Townley was right behind him, gave him a push to the inside and made the move on Bubba Wallace. When they got down to turn 3, Bubba tried to side draft a little bit to slow down the momentum of Jones, but it wasn't to be. Jones was able to dive down into the corner, tuck it low in the turn, and drive away with the lead. Watch him try to grab some air off that right rear corner of the 51 truck as they dive into turn 3. Right there.
Guys have talked all night long about how strong Eric Jones is. We've really seen his talent emerge. Only his 2nd start at a 1.5-mile track in the Camping World Truck Series, and like we've seen so many times before this evening, once one of these trucks gets out front, they start to pull away.
And you got to give it to Eric Phillips. That team made the right adjustment for that young man. He was really loose. We saw him sideways. He was able to hang onto the truck until he could get that adjustment, and that last adjustment was the one he needed.
Can he hang on for the win? 10 laps to go. We'll have it for you when we come back. Six laps to go in the Rhino Linings 350 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Eric Jones leads by 0.7 of a second over Darrell Wallace Jr., his teammate. Matt Crafton is 3rd. Timothy Peters 4th. Brian Eichler is 5th. 5 to go as Eric Jones comes back across the start-finish line. The leaders have worked through lap traffic, and now it's Jones' opportunity to try to pull away and get his 3rd career win.
Eric Jones lost about half of his lead when he was trying to lap the 10th place truck of Joey Coulter. That cut it down to about 0.4 of a second, but then when Bubba Wallace got there, he had the same issue trying to get by Joey, and that opened it back up to a second.
Yeah, it looked like for a bit there that Wallace was going to really be able to take advantage of Jones racing with Coulter. Jones lost all of his momentum. Bubba came charging up there, but then Jones was able to clear Coulter, and away he went.
How about Kyle Busch Motorsports tonight has led 99 of our 142 laps, 4 laps remaining.
How about a week ago we saw a 16-year-old become the youngest ever winner in the Truck Series, Cole Custer. Then we're going to come here to Las Vegas, and quite possibly a young man that just turned 18 a few months ago is going to win on the super speedway.
I think we all felt like last fall at Phoenix when Eric Jones won for the first time in his career. A star was born.
Oh, wow.
And he continues to back it up.
The way he battled Ross Chastain, pitching that truck down low, making that tough pass late in the going. What we saw from him earlier this year at Texas, hanging on to a wrecking loose truck. The win at Iowa, this kid has proven time and time again that he is the real deal.
He's had 4 top 10s in his last 5 starts. And remember, just running a limited schedule. Runs that truck when Kyle Busch doesn't.
And think about tonight, Bill. Earlier, he was loose. We saw him almost spin that truck out down in 3 and 4. Talked calmly to his crew chief, asked for an adjustment for that looseness, and he was able to drive up and take the lead away from Bubba Wallace. And it looks like drive off to victory lane.
2 laps to go now for Eric Jones. Earlier this season at Kentucky, it was a 1-2 finish for KBM. But on that Thursday evening, it was Kyle Busch driving the 51, finishing in front of Darrell Wallace Jr. Tonight, it's the youngster Eric Jones at 18 years old trying to claim his first victory in a truck on a big track. 1 lap to go. White flag in the air for Jones.
As a lap truck of Taylor Mawson. Actually, Taylor Mawson, the 9th place truck between he and Bubba Wallace. That's the 8th place truck right in front of Eric Jones. Jeb Burton, I don't think Eric's going to have to get up there and pass Jeb Burton. I think he has enough cushion to not push the issue.
But what about this last lap? You're having to pass lead top 10 trucks to get your way to victory lane, and they're making it tough on this kid.
What a day for Kyle Busch. Won the nationwide race at Dover. And now in his hometown, his truck's going to finish 1-2. Eric Jones, checkered flag. He does it tonight in Las Vegas. Second to Darrell Wallace Jr. Championship leader Matt Crafton able to pad his cushion, coming home 3rd. Timothy Peters and Brian Eichler complete the top 5. Full post-race coverage on the way from Las Vegas. After a break, it's Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1. We're back in a moment. Thank you, guys. And in that elimination race tomorrow at the Monster Mile, it will be Kyle Busch starting on the outside of row 1. And tonight, perhaps he is celebrating on the infield at Dover because his drivers finished 1-2. Eric Jones getting the checkered flag for the 2nd time this season. And Darrell Wallace Jr. with his 7th top 2 finish. We go our Ram guts and glory. It's all about our race leader.
See him overshoot the pit by just an inch or so. That's going to cost him 3 or 4 seconds on pit road. Lost him a couple positions.
What I was more impressed by, Bill, is this. That tells you how on the edge of control this young man was all night long. Almost spun his truck there, but was able to fight back, get an adjustment from his crew, and then look at this battle with his teammate. That's aggressive racing for the lead late in the going.
You know he has to be a little bit careful because he doesn't want to take his teammate out. But what an outstanding job he did.
And frustration once again for Darrell Wallace Jr. Another runner-up finish, Hermie.
Well, he's finished 2nd 3 of the last 5 races. Coming across the start-finish line to end this race, you said, guys, I let you down. Why?
Just got beat, flat out. First of all, congrats to the 51. That was cool. Hate it's not the 54. We need to win. We need to, I ain't going to say that the points word, but I just did. But it's just frustrating. I hate finishing 2nd so bad. Thanks to my guys, though. The brand new Toyota Tundra for us. Thought it was ours. That's the most frustrating thing. And to see where we come out, and we passed him on the entry or the exit of pit road, and I thought we would be fine. And he just ran us down fast. But dominant performance by KBM once again. So I got 2 weeks to let this one sit in. We got beat, but thanks to Toyota Care, Alpine Stars, Coca-Cola for sure. We'll go on to Talladega and try to finish one spot better.
That's Bubba Wallace. He comes home second. Ray Dunlap.
Eric Jones is driven into victory lane here with his Toyota Care Tundra. He is going to climb out with his 3rd win in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. This one is the 10th this season for KBM and the 35th victory for his crew chief, Eric Phillips. I'll tell you what, Frank, your spotter, said you learned a lot tonight. How much fun was that?
It was a blast. I learned a ton. Man, to get a win on a 1.5 mile, that's awesome. With Project Pink on the car, man, it drove so good at the end. I couldn't ask for any more than this right here. I wanted to win out here so bad. I had this marked down as one I was looking forward to trying to come out. We don't want to win in Vegas, so this is really surreal to me right now.
You said it was really, really loose before the final adjustment. Was it just the right adjustment, or was it, you know, racing with your teammate? What was it?
It was perfect. It was perfect. We were way, way too loose in traffic before it, but we had a strong Tundra. Got back up there racing. It's a perfect adjustment. We've made a big swing at it. Eric said everybody was thinking he was crazy back for making that big of a swing, but just worked out. Camping World, thanks to fans, everybody for coming out. It's just an awesome day. Glad we could pick up our 2nd win.
Congratulations. He won at Iowa and at Phoenix. Now he's won on a 1.5 miles.
Kyle Busch Motorsports goes 1-2. Matt Crafton finishes 3rd, and that was huge when it comes to the championship.
Yeah, he opens up that point lead by 19 now over his teammate Johnny Sauter.
How you going to beat Matt Crafton week in and week out? He's in the top 5. He's solid. He's consistent, and he's a winner. This guy's going to be tough to beat for this championship.
It's not over yet, because next in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, good gracious, it's Talladega.
Oh, so much fun tonight. Eric Jones gets the win. Let's send it now to Los Angeles and Fox Sports Live. Jay and Dan have got the ball.